This is disturbing. What have you learned about the abduction this week of those Christians in Syria?
Well, some of our leaders in Syria have family members that were taken. And the latest that we received this morning is that ISIS has announced that they're going to burn 30 villages to the ground. We don't know if they'll follow up on that, but we already know of some killings happening. But we're praying that the church and the world cries out for these lives. It's 100 to 200 that are taken. It's a terrible tragedy.
And when you say we know of some killings, are you talking about the Christians that have been killed that we can confirm, or others in the area?
That's what one of our leaders in Syria said. Now, they have trouble getting the news sometimes, and so he was mentioning that they knew of 7 were killed. Haven't heard that confirmed internationally yet, but that's what they've heard. And he is right in the middle of those villages and hearing things just on the ground.
And Tom, why did you write your latest book, Killing Christians? I'm sure the spiritual had a lot to do with it.
Well, it's really about the situation, Gary, is that they're killing Christians in the Middle East. And really, it's a global epidemic. It's pandemic. It's all around us. But I wanted to tell the stories about those that are living in the midst of this danger. I really do think, Gary, some of the people in this book, if Hebrews 11 was being written today, they might be contained in it, standing, serving Christ, sharing the gospel in the midst of ISIS. I was just praying for one of our leaders the other day in Syria who is sharing the gospel with an ISIS man that is privately frustrated with what he's doing. It's just a job for him, and he's open to the gospel. So we know that none are unreachable. They're serving Christ faithfully in the front lines, and their lives will inspire you.
And Tom, I'm sure you've met a number of the Yazidis, as have I. They're really open to the gospel there, as are many of the Kurds. Finally, how should we be praying for them, not only about ISIS, but for the unsaved and also for the saved, the Middle East Christians?
Well, I think Satan is not stupid, and he knows that in the last 10 years, more Muslims have come to faith than in the last 14 centuries of Islam. So if he can keep Christians in fear of Muslims or angry at them, hateful, thinking that every one of them serves for ISIS, works with ISIS, this horrible terrorist group, then we'll stay away. So he is not only trying to cause global chaos, but he's trying to keep the church, the believers, from bringing the light into this darkness. So we ask first that believers would start praying. Once we start praying, we have heart surgery, we have a change, and God starts to do things in our mind and in our heart for the believers out there and for those that are even unsaved.
And Tom, Bill O'Reilly has Killing Kennedy, Killing Lincoln. You have Killing Christians. Thanks so much. We'll look forward to reading that book. And thanks for joining us again.
Thank you, Gary.